Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Matt Bernier, the DRFBets race of the day for Thursday, April the 25th, race number 2 at Keeneland. We will kick off the early pick 4 with our race of the day. High-level optional claimer for fillies and mares going 1 mile. Bet the race with a DRFBets account. You won't be sorry. Money back when you bet the race of the day this month with DRFBets. Learn more at promos.drf.com, but basically bet $7 to win on any one horse in any race of the day this month, and if your selection runs second or third, you get your money back. Let's meet the field for race number 2 at Keeneland. Again, we're going a mile, very short run into the first turn at Keeneland. Only a field of 5, but a lot of quality in this race, and you can access free formulator past performances on the Race of the Day event page at drf.com. Download them, handicap along with us. We'll take this field in post position order, beginning with the number 1, Auspicious Babe. This is a one-run closer, Matt. Maybe she needs a little bit of pace, but she's dropping in class. She's taken on stakes caliber horses in her last 3 races.
Yeah, and that's kind of the big thing. You know, it's unfortunate that it doesn't look like she's going to get a ton of pace to run at, because this class relief is necessary. These past 3 runs, she's just been in too tough, I think. And you get back to that run 4 starts back, you have a win right there with an 82 buyer and a 109 time form US rating. I'm afraid, one, about the distance. I wonder if she might be a little bit better at a mile and a 16th as opposed to a flat mile. And 2, kind of the elephant in the room, the pace. She just doesn't seem like there's much in there, and I think she's dependent on it.
I wonder also if maybe she's prepping off a slight layoff for Churchill Downs. She's run very well at Churchill Downs in her career. In fact, all 3 of her victories have come there, including that score on November the 17th at a mile and a 16th. She beat a couple of next out winners. I like the way she did it. She made a 4-wide bid on the turn. She altered course to the center of the track, turning into the stretch, and she still was able to wear down a sharp next out winner. Last time out in the Bayakoa, a little disappointed. Really didn't pick up her feet, although those are some nice horses. Promises of Spring, the runner-up, came back to run 3rd in the double dog there at Keeneland, 78 buyer. Here's a formulator fact for Auspicious Babe's trainer Dallas Stewart. Past 2 years, older horses coming off 2 to 4 month layoffs in dirt routes, 30% winners, 282 ROI. I wonder if the hope for Dallas and Corey Lannery is this is going to be a short field, not a lot of pace. It'll be bunched up. It'll just turn into sort of a sprint for home in the quarter pole, and Corey might be able to work his magic up the rail.
Yeah, if it ends up being run a little bit more like a turf race as opposed to a traditional dirt race where everyone's covered by about 2.5, 3 lengths, maybe you look. It's always one of those things. If you have a deep closer and you can stay within shouting distance in the front, you know you're going to finish just as well, if not better, than all the other horses that are going to be forward. If that's the case, then I think she does have a chance. If this thing is incredibly slow, but there's a situation where even on the slower side, if one of the speed horses wants to go out there and open up by a couple lengths, I wonder if she's going to have too much to do late.
Red Dane is the number 2, going out for trainer Charlie Lopresti. We have not seen her since the Fall City Handicap, going 1 mile and an 1/8. I thought she ran well that day. She was 3 wide early. She made a big 4 wide run on the turn to get within basically heads apart of the leaders, and she just flattened out in the stretch. That race was dominated on the front end. They ran 1-2 around the track. The runner-up, Divine Miss Grace, closing in on $1 million in earnings. She came back to win the Heavenly Prize at Aqueduct with a 96 buyer. I just think she was overmatched in that spot. The layoff is obviously a concern, but she seems to love Keeneland, and if this track comes up wet, she handles that as well.
I was going to say, for me, it's kind of twofold here. She has a little bit of versatility. She can stay relatively close if the pace is on the soft side. She can also fall back if for some reason things do heat up here. This distance isn't going to be an issue for her. The wet track, should it come up wet, shouldn't be an issue. And really the big piece for me, Keeneland. You know, it's one of those things. She's 3 of 17 overall. She's 2 of 3 lifetime over the Keeneland main track. I don't think that's something you want to overlook. And I like the fact that Velasquez takes them out here.
Velasquez was aboard for that win at Keeneland, going 1 mile. And you will note that Johnny V kept that horse closer than usual in that race. That could be key as we take a look at the Timeform US pace projector. It's a blue bar situation favoring horses on or near the early lead, and the 3 Skeptic, another horse returning off a long layoff, is expected to make the lead. Skeptic actually has some ability. She won the Grade 3 Monmouth Oaks last year for 3-year-old fillies, and I actually like her cutting back to 1 mile. I just think the Spinster was too tough for her 2 starts back, and last time out maybe the 1 mile and an 1/8 was too much as well. She's got to prove that she can handle these older fillies or mares, but boy, this is a nice situation if Brian Hernandez can get to the top.
Yeah, this is about as good a situation as you could draw up coming off of a layoff. We know Rusty Arnold's barn is rolling along right now, 4 for 19 at the time that we're recording this. She has a victory at Keeneland. I agree with you about the distance. This turn back should be helpful for her. And that pace projector is obviously advantageous. If she's able to clear off to the front, she should have every opportunity if she's ready to go.
Two-time Clásico del Caribe Day winner, the number 4 Hala Hala, Pride of Mexico, 13 wins from 25 starts, and I think a lot of us were dubious as to how her Mexican form and her win on Clásico del Caribe 2018 day would work in the Royal Delta. She ran great trying to chase down an odds-on winning favorite in Blamed. Last time out, she ran 7 furlongs. I don't think she liked being down inside. She broke poorly and then got stuck down there. She fits in here and can be close to the pace.
From a numbers standpoint, that's the most intriguing part, that she's right here. It's interesting that Jose Ortiz has the mount. I agree with, the inside information, I don't really want to hold that race against her. When she didn't break all that alertly, I think that really compromised her chances. The run 2 starts back in the Royal Delta. If she replicates that, I can make the case that she's actually the horse to beat in here. The question is a couple things. The wet track, I understand she's run well, but it's a different thing to do that in Mexico against inferior company than it is here at a flat mile. And really, it'll just be up to Jose to see where you want to position her. I think she can be forwardly placed. If this thing is on the slower side, she pushes the filly just breaking to her inside, and maybe they go on with it.
Completing the field is My Lady Curlin going out for Brad Cox. This horse steps up in very sharp form. That was an extremely impressive win against now-winners of 2 other than foes at Oaklawn last time out. Ricardo Santana basically had this horse in hand the final 16th of a mile. She showed some agility advancing towards the inside, entering the turn, easing out to split horses, turning into the lane. The Beyers are going the right way, and you can argue if she can improve slightly off that 89 Beyer into a low 90s, she's going to be very tough to beat. For me, she's a must-use in the pick 4, but she is stepping up in class, and she's going to be a short price.
I picked her second in here. I think the thing, not only because she has the figure right now in that most recent run, but I like the fact that she's in good form, and you have some questions about all the other girls in here, whether they're coming off of a layoff, or maybe they're not doing necessarily what they want to do, or maybe their form is a little bit sideways right now. At least with a filly like My Lady Curlin, she's in good form. She's got great connections as far as Brad Cox and Luis Saez are concerned. And again, I just don't think that this track or this distance is going to be an issue for her. You have to look at her as one of the main players.
She's probably the horse to beat, but we will try to beat her with the same horse as we take a look at our top selection. We're going to go with Red Dane, perhaps a horse for course at Keeneland. I think she will run fresh for Charlie Lepresti, and a wet track wouldn't hurt. I think John Velazquez is going to be a little bit more aggressive than some of her other riders this time around. I don't think he's going to try to be able to make the lead, but I think he'll be sitting in the pocket with a big chance when the field turns into the stretch.
No, and that's the way that you laid it out, and I kind of agree with you. You go back to that run from April of last year when she's only a half length off the pace. I think that's kind of how you want to ride her in this race, especially if the pace is on the more moderate side. You want to get the jump on My Lady Curlin. You want to be right up there, I would imagine, with a horse like Hala Hala or even Skeptic, because those are going to be the horses that are forwardly placed. And again, we talked about Auspicious Babe. If for some reason this thing heats up, which I don't anticipate it to, but if it does, she's probably going to come with a late bid too.
But we're both going 2-5 in race number 2 at Keeneland, kicking off the pick 4. Have to use the 5 as well in the pick. Again, if you're betting race of the days this month, do so with DRFBets. You get your money back when you bet $7 to win on any horse in any race of the day this month. If your selection finishes second or third, you get your money back. DRFBets, ready, set, bet. An approximate post time for the kickoff leg of Thursday's early pick 4 at Keeneland, 1:39 Eastern. Good luck.